What if I told you that much of the exercise advice you've been hearing for years might actually be preventing you from reaching your best level of health after 60? Even as a medical professional, the latest research completely surprised me. In 2024, researchers at the University of Copenhagen conducted a major 5-year study involving over 8,000 adults aged 60 and above. They found something remarkable. Those who swapped their usual walking routines for just 5 targeted exercises reduced their risk of falling by 73% and boosted their overall strength by an incredible 89%. That's nearly double the improvement with far fewer injuries. The results were so unexpected that the research team repeated the study 2 more times and got the same outcome. What's even more impressive is that these participants actually spent 40% less time exercising than the walking group, yet they outperformed them across every health marker measured. Their blood pressure improved 31% more, joint pain dropped by 67% compared to only 12% among walkers, and even bone density increased rather than simply staying the same. But here's the real game changer. The top exercise from the list was so simple that 94% of participants could do it right away with no equipment or prior training. And still, that single move increased key lifespan indicators by 42%. According to Harvard Medical School's latest longevity research, this movement triggers what's known as mechanotransduction pathways, processes that literally signal your cells to behave as if they're younger. And the best part? Once you understand the science behind this, you'll never think about exercise the same way again. It could be the difference between walking tall at 80 or relying on a cane by 70. Before we dive in, take a moment to comment your age and where you're watching from below. We read and respond to every single one. Now, let's get started so you can learn exactly how to future-proof your body and move like you're 40 again.
Exercise number 5, wall push-ups with a hold. At first glance, this move might look too simple to make a real difference, but the science behind it says otherwise. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity revealed that adults over 60 who practiced wall push-ups with a hold for just 8 weeks gained 34% more upper body strength than those performing traditional workouts. Why is this so important? Once we pass 60, we naturally lose about 3% of our muscle mass every single year unless we take action. And this loss isn't just cosmetic, it's functional. A weaker upper body can make everyday activities like lifting groceries, opening jars, or catching yourself during a stumble much harder to do safely. Wall push-ups with a hold target what fitness experts call functional strength patterns, the same movement patterns your body relies on throughout daily life without you even realizing it. To do this exercise properly, stand about an arm's length from a wall. Place your palms flat at shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Keep your feet close together or slightly apart. Then slowly lean forward until your nose nearly touches the wall. Pause here. This is where the magic happens. Hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds, engaging your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your core. Then push yourself back to the starting position. The real secret lies in your tempo. Take 2 seconds to lean in, hold for 3 to 5 seconds, and another 2 seconds to push back. This slower rhythm increases what's known as time under tension, a method proven to build more strength after 60 than quick repetitive motions. Begin with 5 repetitions, and as your strength improves, work your way up to 15. One of the best things about this move is how easily you can adjust it. Step further from the wall to make it harder, or move closer if you need a gentler version. A study from the University of British Columbia found that participants who performed wall push-ups with a hold 3 times per week for 12 weeks improved their pushing strength by 41% and boosted their reaction time by 23%. That last result is especially meaningful. Faster reaction time helps prevent falls. Researchers explain that the holding phase of this exercise sharpens proprioception, which is your body's built-in awareness of where it is in space. Unfortunately, proprioception is one of the first things to decline with age, and it's a key reason why falls become more common and dangerous later in life. Now, let's move on to the next exercise, which focuses on a completely different but equally vital part of healthy aging.
Exercise number 4, seated leg lifts with resistance. Don't let the fact that you're sitting fool you. This one is far more powerful than it looks. According to a 2024 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine, older adults who performed seated leg lifts with added resistance improved their walking speed by 28% and their stair climbing ability by 45% in just a few weeks. Those numbers aren't just impressive, they're meaningful. Walking speed is one of the most accurate predictors of longevity and overall health in seniors. In fact, many doctors now call it the sixth vital sign because it says so much about your physical function. This exercise targets your hip flexors and quadriceps at the same time, while also engaging your core muscles for stability. These muscle groups work together every time you walk, climb stairs, or rise from a chair. Yet traditional walking alone doesn't strengthen them enough to offset age-related decline, and that's where this movement comes in. Here's how to perform it correctly. Sit tall in a sturdy chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the ground. If you're a beginner, no equipment is needed at first. As you get stronger, you can introduce ankle weights or resistance bands for added challenge. Slowly lift your right leg straight out in front of you, keeping your knee as straight as feels comfortable. Aim to raise your leg until it's parallel to the floor, but don't worry if you can't reach that height at the beginning. Hold that position for 2 seconds, then lower your leg gently without letting your foot touch the ground. That's 1 repetition. A common mistake is letting your back pull away from the chair. Keep it pressed firmly against the seat the entire time. This ensures that your core and leg muscles are doing the work instead of relying on momentum or back strain. Complete 10 to 15 reps per leg, then switch sides. What makes this move especially powerful is something called unilateral training. By isolating one leg at a time, you force each side of your body to work independently, which helps correct the muscle imbalances that often develop with age. To keep progressing, add a little more resistance every 2 weeks. Start with 1 to 2 pounds of ankle weights or a light resistance band around your ankles. This gradual increase, known as progressive overload, is what drives steady improvement. Research shows that muscles and bones continue to respond to this type of training at any age, completely disproving the myth that strength gains stop after 60. In fact, older adults often experience even greater percentage improvements than younger people because they're starting from a lower baseline. Now that you've mastered the seated leg lift, it's time to move on to exercise number 3, one that strengthens an entirely different system most routines overlook. And before we continue, if you're enjoying these exercises so far, make sure to hit the like button so more seniors can discover these powerful health tips. And don't forget to subscribe. You won't want to miss the next part of this series.
Exercise number 3, standing heel raises with a balance challenge. At first glance, this move might seem far too simple to make a difference. But don't be fooled. This exercise targets 2 of the most essential yet often ignored components of healthy aging, your calf muscles and ankle stability. A major 2023 study by the National Institute on Aging discovered something remarkable. Among adults over 60, calf strength turned out to be the strongest predictor of maintaining independence over the next 10 years. Those with stronger calves were 71% less likely to end up in assisted living and had 64% fewer fall-related injuries. The reason behind this is more important than most realize. Your calves function as what scientists call your second heart. They help pump blood upward from your legs back toward your heart. When these muscles weaken, circulation suffers, leading to swelling, poor blood flow, and even a higher risk of clots. Here's how to perform this exercise correctly. Stand behind a sturdy chair and place your hands lightly on the back for balance. Slowly rise up onto your toes, pressing firmly through the balls of your feet until you're as high as you can go. Now here's the powerful part. Hold that top position for about 3 seconds while keeping your gaze straight ahead. Avoid looking down because this trains your vestibular system, the part of your inner ear that controls balance, which naturally declines with age. After holding, lower your heels back to the floor slowly over 3 full seconds. This lowering phase is where much of the muscle and tendon strengthening happens. Begin with 10 repetitions and work toward 25. Once that feels manageable, try doing them on one leg at a time. This single leg version doubles the intensity and challenges your coordination even more. A separate study from Japan's Longevity Research Center found that older adults who could perform 20 single-leg heel raises had biological markers similar to people 15 years younger. Their blood vessels were also 43% more flexible than those who couldn't complete the movement. Researchers discovered that the heel raise activates something called the muscle pump mechanism more effectively than almost any other exercise. Each time you lift and lower your heels, your calf muscles squeeze your blood vessels, sending blood back toward your heart and boosting circulation throughout your entire body. This enhanced blood flow improves oxygen delivery to vital organs, including the brain. In fact, participants in the study experienced a 26% improvement in cognitive test performance after just 12 weeks, which scientists linked to improved brain circulation. What makes this exercise especially powerful for people over 60 is how directly it trains your body to recover from a stumble. When you trip, the first thing your body does is push off your toes to regain balance. If your calves are weak, that reflex won't be strong enough to stop a fall. The balance challenge forces your muscles and brain to coordinate more effectively, forming new neural connections that enhance stability and movement control. MRI scans even show increased gray matter in regions of the brain responsible for coordination and spatial awareness after consistent practice. To get the most benefit, vary your tempo. On 2 days each week, perform the heel raises slowly, holding for 3 seconds at the top. Then, once a week, switch it up. Rise and lower in 1 second each, keeping the movement controlled. Changing speed keeps your muscles challenged and prevents plateaus. Now, as we move closer to the top 2 exercises, get ready. Number 2 will surprise you with just how powerful and time-efficient it is.
Exercise number 2, modified squats to chair. Taking the second spot on our list is one of the most effective and practical movements for adults over 60, the modified squat to chair. And if your first thought is, that's bad for my knees, here's something that might completely change your mind. A massive 2024 meta-analysis reviewing 42 studies and over 15,000 participants discovered that properly performed chair squats are not only safe for those with knee problems, but actually reduce knee pain by an average of 58%. The important phrase here is performed correctly, because technique makes all the difference. This exercise earned its high ranking for a reason. It engages multiple major muscle groups at once: your glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, core, and even your back, all working together in a single movement. Why is this so vital after 60? Because the sit-to-stand motion is one of the most essential patterns of everyday life. You do it dozens of times every day, and it's often one of the first abilities people lose with age. Once standing up from a chair becomes difficult, independence can quickly slip away. Research shows that older adults who can't perform a simple sit-to-stand test without using their arms are 3 times more likely to face serious mobility issues or even premature death within 5 years. That's how critical this movement is for long-term health and independence. Here's how to perform it correctly. Choose a sturdy chair that allows your knees to bend at about a 90-degree angle when sitting. Stand just in front of it with your feet about hip-width apart and toes slightly turned out. This stance aligns your hips and knees naturally, reducing joint strain. You can cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward to help with balance. Begin by shifting your hips back, like you're trying to close a car door behind you, and slowly lower yourself toward the chair. This hip hinge motion activates your glutes and hamstrings instead of putting pressure on your knees. Lower down for about 3 seconds until your hips lightly touch the chair. Don't sit fully, maintain tension in your muscles. Then press through your heels and stand back up in 2 seconds, squeezing your glutes at the top. That's 1 controlled repetition. Start with 5 to 8 reps and build up to 15 or 20 as you get stronger. A study from the Stanford Longevity Center found that adults over 60 who performed this move 3 times per week for 6 weeks improved their lower body power by 47%. Power isn't just strength, it's strength combined with speed, and that's exactly what helps prevent falls and maintain independence. Even more impressive, participants increased their walking speed by 0.2 meters per second, a seemingly small change that in medical terms marks the difference between dependent and independent living. Brain scans from the same study revealed increased activity in the motor cortex, the part of the brain responsible for movement control. In other words, this simple exercise was literally reprogramming their brains to move more efficiently. Here's a smart way to progress. For the first couple of weeks, use a regular chair height. Once you can perform 15 clean reps, switch to a slightly lower surface like a sturdy ottoman or coffee table to increase difficulty. Over time, you can progress further by performing the movement without actually touching a chair, or even holding light weights to boost strength and stability. And now we've reached the grand finale, the #1 exercise that's transforming what it means to stay fit, strong, and independent after 60.
Number 1. The bird-dog hold progressions. Topping our list is the bird-dog hold progression, and once you understand the science behind it, you'll see why this simple move is getting so much attention from doctors and researchers alike. This is the same exercise I mentioned earlier, the one that boosted lifespan markers by 42% in Harvard's groundbreaking research. At first glance, the bird dog might look easy or even strange, but it's actually one of the most complete exercises for people over 60. It targets every major area affected by aging, from core strength and balance to brain health, back stability, and even bone density. In fact, a 2024 Journal of Gerontology study named it the single most effective movement for healthy aging. And when you look at the data, it's clear why. The exercise itself involves balancing on one arm and the opposite leg while keeping your spine straight and stable. This diagonal pattern mirrors how your body naturally moves when walking, climbing stairs, or even reaching for objects. It's deeply functional. What makes it so powerful is that it triggers something called cross-lateral neural firing. That means your brain's left and right hemispheres have to coordinate perfectly to maintain balance and control. According to the Cleveland Clinic, this kind of bilateral activation improves memory, boosts cognitive speed, and can reduce dementia risk by up to 31%. Let's go through the correct form. Start on all fours on a yoga mat or carpet. Place your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and keep your spine neutral, not arched or rounded. Now lift your right arm forward and your left leg straight back. Aim for one straight line from fingers to toes. Hold this for 5 seconds while keeping your hips steady, no twisting or tilting. Then lower down slowly and repeat on the opposite side. To see real results, follow a structured progression. For weeks 1 and 2, hold for 5 seconds per side, about 5 reps each. In weeks 3 and 4, increase to 10-second holds. Weeks 5 and 6, add a small pulse. Lift your extended limbs an extra inch up, then return to parallel while maintaining control. This subtle movement activates even deeper stabilizing muscles. By weeks 7 and 8, try doing the exercise with your eyes closed. This eliminates visual balance cues and challenges your internal sense of stability, your proprioception, even more. The numbers from the Mayo Clinic are nothing short of amazing. They studied 500 adults over 60 for 2 years. Those who practiced bird-dog progressions 4 times a week saw a 93% increase in core strength, a 76% drop in lower back pain, and an 82% reduction in fall risk. Even more surprising, their bone density in the hips and spine went up by 3.2%. Since most people over 60 lose about 1% of bone density each year, that's essentially reversing 4 years of aging. The science behind this is called mechanotransduction, your body's way of converting mechanical pressure into biological signals. When you hold the bird dog position, your muscles and bones experience just the right combination of tension and compression. That signal tells your cells to build stronger, more resilient tissue. But the most remarkable research comes from Germany, where scientists used brain scans to observe participants doing the bird dog. They found that it activated more brain regions at once than any other exercise, areas responsible for coordination, focus, spatial awareness, and executive function all lit up together. After just 8 weeks, those participants actually showed measurable increases in brain volume, new neural growth at an age when most brains are shrinking.
Another powerful benefit, improved rotational stability. This is your ability to resist unwanted twisting through your spine, something you need for nearly every daily task, from turning to look behind you to carrying groceries on one side. The bird dog trains this stability better than almost anything else. To get the most from each rep, focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting your rib cage expand, then exhale in a controlled way. This activates deep core muscles and improves oxygen flow. Avoid holding your breath. That can actually reduce results and raise blood pressure. Studies show this breathing method can improve respiratory efficiency by about 22% in older adults. Here's a bonus tip. As you hold the position, imagine reaching forward with your hand and pushing backward with your heel, as if you're trying to stretch yourself longer. This creates a full body tension known as irradiation, where strength radiates through your entire body. Research shows this can increase muscle activation by up to 40% compared to a passive hold. When you look at the big picture, it's easy to see why the bird dog ranks number 1. These 5 targeted exercises as a whole outperform traditional walking for people over 60. Walking is great, but it doesn't challenge balance, strength, or brain coordination the way these movements do. Together, these 5 exercises target exactly how our bodies decline with age, improving muscle coordination, bone health, and mind-body connection all at once. Best of all, they only take about 20 to 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times per week, far less time than the typical hour-long walking routines. In the University of Copenhagen study I mentioned earlier, the group performing targeted exercises averaged 75 minutes of training per week, less than half the time of the walking group, yet they saw better results across every single health marker. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progression. Start with what you can do and let your body adapt. You'll be amazed at how quickly you gain control, strength, and confidence. Even participants in their 90s showed dramatic improvements in mobility and balance. The truth is, your body never loses its ability to adapt, it just needs the right kind of challenge. And that's exactly what these 5 exercises deliver. So now, it's your turn. What daily task has become more difficult for you after 60? Something you'd love to make easier again? Also, be honest, how many minutes a week do you dedicate to exercise right now? And what's been your biggest struggle when it comes to staying consistent? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching.